So New York continues to make some stellar decisions when it comes to their politicians.
Doesn't it
Pretty
surprise
awesome.
you? Yeah.
Oh no, I think last time they voted in a Republican to run the city was Giuliani, and that was right around 9/11, if we all remember that. But he really cleaned up that town and made it kind of safe to go around Times Square at the time because it was a seedy little like strip clubs and bars, and it was not a child friendly place that you want to take your kids. You can take your kids if you didn't care if it was child friendly, but anyway, so the decisions in New York are pretty amazing. You probably have heard what's going on with this Zohran Mamdani, 33-year-old, loads of experience, not. But of course, they always say that about Trump and all these other, and Hegseth and all these other people that don't have experience. Like, but I haven't heard anybody do a little outcry about him. Kind of interesting, isn't it? So we're going to talk about that today, and then we're also going to probably bring up the whole birthright citizenship and talking about that, and we'll get into a couple of things like that. So anyway, we'll get into this right now. All right. There we go. Get that up on the screen. Welcome to the Rude Barn podcast, everyone. I am the Barn, and over right there, that way.
Rude. Yeah.
That's the Rude. Man, you and I have been busy, and we can't even get the podcasts in very often right now. We're going to have to make time like we're doing right now.
So, yeah, I just got to break in and make it, man.
Oh, you got it. So real quick, we have some new merch up in our store, the rudebarn.etsy.com. Check this out. We've got our you can change the label, but the beer's the same.
Yep.
We got that shirt rolling. And then we also got our need a real ID to board a plane. Need an ID to vote, and it has a little angry face down there. But everybody's fine have a real ID to board a freaking plane. Of course, we got our question everything shirts going on, and mostly peaceful psychopath.
That kind of describes our little town over the past couple of weeks. It's kind of been like a wild west out here.
Oh yeah, craziness. Yeah. And now we have this one, which a buddy of mine wanted me to do. You don't stop playing because you grow old. You grow old when you stop playing.
Oh, yeah. A little life advice. I like that.
A lot of truth into that. And then we also want to thank our buddies at Bearded Viking Mead Company, beardedviking.com. Say a quick something about that, and then we'll roll into our podcast.
Get your hooch. Get the best bathtub hooch in town, in the country, in the world, in the state, wherever. You can go to our it's kind of, we call it a hooch finder. BeardedViking.com. Go to the hooch finder, see where you can get it close to you. And 50 states now, you can get it to your front door. So there's no excuse.
No excuse, bitches. Isn't that how it goes? That's right, brother. No excuse.
Yeah.
No like that, brother. So. All right. So that's our little sponsorships we had going on. We love it. Please help like, subscribe, share the show. It really kind of helps our channel grow. Let everybody know if you're having fun. We talk about some topics that are kind of brutal sometimes, and then sometimes we have a lot of fun with other ones and laugh our asses off. And we try to laugh our asses off during every show because we're supposed to entertain you at the same time.
Yeah. And you can't take life too seriously either.
No. We give our opinions. Oddly enough, we have them, and so does everybody else. And we decided to throw them out there to the world to hear because we feel we're important.
Why not?
Why the hell not?
It makes us feel just this much more important.
Yeah, we're more important than you are because we're actually doing a show.
And we back into parking stalls.
Right. Oh, my God. So have you heard about what New York City's doing in their Democrat primary race with Andrew Cuomo, former New York State governor, who really effed up the whole COVID situation by putting people who were struck with the COVID virus, affliction, and put them in nursing homes where the most vulnerable people were, and killed off a lot of people in the nursing homes. Your grandma, grandpa, and other people.
Yeah, it was not pretty.
No.
Not pretty.
So he's kind of getting swept by this new kid, this 33-year-old. Was it Zohran? Mamdani. This guy is something else, and I'm going to bring up a little picture of this guy so you can see who he is, and you'll recognize him here in a second. Bam! There he is.
Mm-hmm.
Zohran Mamdani. Let's get a little background on who this guy is. He's a democratic socialist, and I love how they say democratic. No. Get the I and the C off of there. It's really Democrat socialist. Mm-hmm. And don't you love how they just throw this out there and they're proud? Oh, I'm a socialist.
Yeah. I who would be proud of that?
Moron idiots
yeah.
who don't understand how the shit works.
It's crazy.
Anyway, but apparently he has been the talk of the town since pulling off her historic grassroots funding campaign. Also really kind of sponsored by, if you will, or promoted by AOC. Shocker, right there.
She's a nightmare. We got to do a whole show just about AOC and how big of a nightmare she is. But yeah, it's kind of stuff that that she's promoting, and it's really, it just shows. To me, it just shows how little knowledge she has and how dumb she is and how she doesn't do her homework.
Right. And if she is doing her homework and she still pushes this shit, you have to wonder what the hell is wrong with her. And there's a lot. There's only really one thing good about her. And I don't think I need to say anymore.
Yeah, that's
about it.
But that's about it.
He is zeroed in on young, white, ultra-left New Yorkers. That's another shocker. Ultra-left New Yorkers, because all these ultra-left policies have been doing so great for the Democrat Party.
Yeah, they're really knocking it out of the box with them.
Oh, yeah. So, let's see. He's been slammed for his refusal to acknowledge Israel having a right to exist. How many Jews live in New York City? Hasidic Jews and the population in general in New York is 30%, 20 or 30% or something last time I checked.
Yeah, it's pretty damn high.
Yeah, this guy is something else. He's refusing to acknowledge that Israel has a right to exist. And this guy just won the New York, or was winning the New York primary. I guess Cuomo decided he was going to get out. I'm losing. Now he's decided to get back in. It's kind of interesting. I think I have a whole segment on that. But this guy was born in Uganda. Go figure that. Well, that's going to keep him out of the presidential race. Thank God.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, he was raised in the Upper West Side, served as New York State lawmaker since 2020. He's received major endorsements from Working Families Party. Well, there's another ironically named group. Tenant orgs and fellow progressive lawmakers. Let's just see what some of his policies are, because this is going to, you kind of have to get to know what this guy is all about before you kind of make a decision on him. And I've heard a few of these things. Just the fact that he is so, just alone, the fact that he doesn't want Israel to exist, whether you are supporting Israel, you don't support Israel, just that general concept in and of itself is enough to make you go, what? I don't wish for the destruction of a culture, of a ethnicity, of a religion.
Well, doesn't that sound like a certain man with a certain mustache with a certain hand signal? Yeah.
Who about 80 years ago killed off a bunch of Jews, was it?
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah. So would you categorize him in the Hitler category? I'm just wondering.
He's definitely walking down the same path.
Well, they seem to be throwing, the left seems to be throwing Trump in that category all the time. But when somebody like this comes out, Crickets? I'm barely hearing crickets.
Yeah, you barely hearing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm doing a little reading there, and that's I just don't I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see what kind of
Yeah. Let's see what he's talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's going in here. New York is too expensive. Agreed, wholeheartedly, 100% agree with you. Now, I'm not sure how this next sentence, how he's going to lower costs and make life easier. How are you going to do that? Well, first of all, we're going to freeze the rent. How has that ever worked out? Rent control.
That's gonna crash their economy, depending on how long he freezes it. What are you gonna freeze it for? A month? 2 months? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, majority of New Yorkers are tenants, and more than 2 million of them live in rent-stabilized apartments. These homes should be the bedrock of economic security for the city's working class. Instead, Eric Adams, just Eric Adams, now that's been going on for a long time, has taken every opportunity to squeeze tenants with his hand-picked appointee and rent guidelines board, jacking up rents and stabilizing. Okay, I agree to the concept is good, because you don't want rents going up, and it's insane. Our daughter and her boyfriend lived in Manhattan for about 6 months last year, and they were paying, I want to say, for a was it 2-bedroom, a little small 2-bedroom. I mean, it was a small 2-bedroom. We did visit them in December. It was a lot of fun. And a living room / kitchen all together with the bathroom right behind the kitchen. Not super huge place. I would say probably 600 square feet, maybe 500, 600 square feet, something like that. $5,000 a month.
That's insane.
$5,000.
Dude, my very first apartment was 2-bedroom, about 1,000 square feet, and it was like $800 a month.
Oh yeah, no.
I mean, now this is
craziness.
This is 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, but I mean, it's just that's insane, dude.
That it is loco.
Well, I do agree that that there should be no more hikes. I mean, if they're just constantly trying to hike it and spike,
maybe,
and keep everything in a reasonable rate, and let's just go with that rather than hiking and spiking every time. Price gouging everybody, especially the guys who own or companies that own multiple buildings. You know what I mean?
Right.
Multiple sites.
So, but here's the thing, though. I mean, if you, and this is where people look at things through their narrow, vision. They don't understand the other side of the issue. If you were an owner of one of these buildings or whatever, and you have your own mortgage payment that you got to make, and that's what it is. And if those payments go up because interest rates hike and things like that, you're stuck having to make those higher payments, which means that's where you have to raise the rent, albeit should be at a reasonable rate that meets those increases. Yeah.
Well, and maybe do maybe a program where it's a grandfather thing. So okay, well, here's the freeze for 2026. Okay. So if you're in it in 2026, you're at $5,000.
Yeah.
Now if you come in and say you keep that good until 2030. Now, if you come in over, past 2030 and we have to hike, you're still grandfathered in to that $5,000 for your unit. The year that, the year that the freeze, like the freeze year or whatever it is,
Not
There's
a permanent freeze until you move out, but maybe a yearly freeze is.
Extend that time. Do it a 4 or 5 year deal, or
because you can sign a year lease and lock.
And take in the average of how long people are staying in your buildings, and then make it reasonable for them. Or that way. I don't know, but I mean, I
don't know the answer either, and I haven't lived in a rent controlled area, so I don't know all the pros and cons per se. But I have heard a lot of stuff about how it's not the greatest thing. It might be for the people living there, but for the people who own it, I mean, you really are you're knocking people who are investing their own money into buildings and who are landlords. Not all landlords are great. This is what he wants to crack down on. The bad landlords, that's great. I'm not sure exactly his process on that. But it does go through. I'll put this link in the description so you can kind of go through and really read in depth more of what he wants to do. But a lot of this stuff sounds wonderful to somebody who doesn't really understand everything that's going on. Some of it could probably be good. Some of it, maybe not. He wants to create a Department of Community Safety. Now, what is that supposed to mean? Don't we have the police for that? Isn't that what they're
police department?
Serve and protect?
I mean, is he talking about like a neighborhood watch program?
He's talking something because he's like, all New Yorkers deserve to be safe. Yes, they do. But the Adams administration has failed to deliver in the sense of safety and security everyone should feel walking down our street. Okay, we walked in New York. We didn't feel any sort of apprehension that our lives were in danger. Obviously, you kind of have to look around and keep your head on a swivel sometimes, just to common sense. You don't want to walk down some place you're not really should be walking down because it's not the greatest. But you just kind of use a little common sense here. And here he says we have to be consistently shown to improve safety. Police have a critical role to play, but right now we're relying on them to deal with the failures of our social safety net. Why do we have to have a social safety net? You know, that just sounds like more money out of people who are earning money to people who are not earning any money.
Well, it doesn't. Now, this is kind of where the socialism comes in.
Yeah, exactly.
The social safety net.
He's also been a proponent of defunding the police, and I do have a tweet that shows that, or an X post, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, so you have that. So if you really start digging deep into what these and the Dems are classic and really good at making things sound wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you get down, it's just crap. City-owned grocery stores. Why?
This is the socialism. Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Here's socialism. Food prices are out of control. Yeah, so let's have the government run it because they do a stellar job with everything they put their fingerprints on.
They've been batting 1,000, right?
Oh my God.
With everything that they've put their hands in.
Create a network of city-owned grocery stores focusing on keeping prices low, not making a profit. Well, why the hell are you in business if you're not there to make a profit, douchebag? And who's paying for it? Everybody is going to be paying for this.
But
you can do this in different ways.
Is that where the tax dollars? I mean, are we paying that with our tax dollars? You know, or I mean, New York, the citizens are paying for that with their tax dollars, right?
Yeah, let's see if this plays and see if he tells us what he plans on doing. Oh, nope, it's not going to show me. Anyway, but this will be in the link and we can show it. Fast, fare-free buses. It's not okay. Fare-free. So more of my taxpayer dollars that I'm paying in my income is going to help pay for all of this. Again, it's a social program. I mean, come on. And fighting corporate exploitation. Well, you do that in different ways than it sounds like he wants to do it. New York working class is getting nickeled and dimed. Yeah, with your programs, we're getting nickeled and dimed with. And Donald Trump is making it easy for his corporate pals to pick their... Donald Trump doesn't really give a shit about corporate pals. He's all about doing business and having people make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what he's at, which is what every corporation and every company is trying to do. As Trump loosens consumer protections and empowers CEOs, and how is he doing that? There, Zohran. How is he doing that? And he has a plan to just do that, to protect working class dollars. He'll fight misleading advertising. Oh, okay. And predatory contracts and ban all his. This is pie in the sky shit, everybody. These are what we call campaign promises.
Yeah, this is nothing that he could ever get done.
Yeah, none of this shit will ever get done in any reasonable amount of time. He expects this to. And secret corporate handouts. Really, how are you going to do that? If they're secret, how do you know they're happening? I mean, aren't they? It says it right here. Secret. It's a
Secret.
secret corporate handout where tax dollars are given away to companies in agreements protected by NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, if you didn't know what that was.
Mm-hmm.
He'll fund challenges to utility companies so that Con Ed can't raise prices without a fight. I think they already do that, and it's called a public hearing on raising your utility rates. This is why you need competition. You need Con Ed, and then you need New York Edison, or you need New York Electric, or you need, like 4 different power companies that can compete against each other. That's how you do it. You don't let a monopoly like Con Ed freaking
Hold
run
all
the
the
place.
contracts. Yeah.
Yeah, just like here we have Rocky Mountain Power, the only power company. We have one gas company. And you only have a choice of one water company to bring your water to your house. Depending on where you're at, they have different ones. But I don't have a choice to get the water company from 2 cities away from me, or a city away, or whatever. I'm stuck with who I have. So you have to have competition there. Early childhood education, no cost childcare. Okay, so who pays
the workers?
People who are caring for your child?
Yeah.
Are they doing it for free?
Right?
Oh, that's right. Taxpayer dollars, because it's the social network.
So all this kind of sounds like, in the end, he's going to raise taxes. And to get all this done,
aren't you
their
paying enough?
taxes are going to go through the roof.
Aren't you paying enough out of your paychecks right now?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Dude, this is ridiculous. Zohran will implement free childcare for every New Yorker aged 6 weeks to 5 years. Oh, you will implement free childcare. How are you going to do that? Oh, that's right. You're going to have to raise taxes. It means people whose children have already grown up to a point where they don't need childcare anymore are going to have to pay for everybody else who has a kid.
Yeah, that's horse shit.
Well, you have public school education that gets taken out of your property taxes and whatnot every year too. Yeah, I get it, and I'm not real happy about it. At the same time, like if you only have 1 or 2 kids, but you're paying for families that have 5, 6, or 7 kids, and they're basically paying the same rate as you are, but they're getting 7 kids through, or 5, or whatever it is, and you're just getting 1 or 2. How's that fair?
It's not fair. Yeah. And you need to be responsible to pay for your own kids. So if you can't pay for them, stop having them.
Have as many kids as you want, as long as you're paying for them.
As long as you're paying for them.
If I have to pay for your kids, guess what? You can't have any more kids.
Yeah, no shit.
Have as many kids as you want and figure out a way of doing it without taking my money from me. 125,000 New Yorkers are born across the city every year. The cost of living crisis can make it difficult for new families to give them a healthy start. I mean, I'm all for somehow, some way. There are programs that can help you out, but that already is in existence a lot right now. And now he's wanting to add more. Each New York City baby basket. So he wants to put a collection of essential goods and resources free of charge. Everything's free, everybody. Nobody pays for anything.
Yeah, you get a baby
how that
basket.
Works.
You get a baby basket. Yeah. You know what's funny? It says at less than 20. So they're figuring the cost of this at less than $20 million a year. What is that? $19,900,099. Is that why it's less than $20 million?
Right.
I mean,
that budget will go up every year because it always does.
There's no way you could do that for $20 million.
125,000 New Yorkers on $20 million a year. Not possible.
No.
The math, as Jasmine Crockett, who is a fucking Mensa candidate genius, would say, and the math ain't mathin'.
The math ain't mathin'.
The math ain't mathin'.
No, you can just see it, including items like diapers, baby wipes, nursing pads, postpartum pads, swaddles, and books. I mean, just right there alone. And then it says
Diapers.
a visiting program. So they're going to have to pay workers to facilitate that, right?
Yeah, visiting program.
That's the math ain't math.
And how many people and how much is it going to cost for postpartum depression? Oh, all of a sudden, I have postpartum depression. I'm not putting it down because it's a real thing and it happens to a lot of people. A lot of what do they call it? Birthing people?
However,
I mean,
AKA
your wife, women.
Your wife's postpartum depression issues, not my problem.
Yeah, I am sorry that you have them, but that is
something
that you will have to deal with, and everybody freaking does at one point or another.
Yeah.
Jesus, I mean, it's just crazy. And then K through 12. And we'll start going through these a little bit fast because we've got a lot of stuff to get through, and we're really kind of putting a lot of time into this, but that's okay. That's why we're here. ZOHRAN will ensure our public schools are fully funded. Okay, what does that mean? What does fully funded mean? With equally distributed resources, strong after-school programs, mental health. Oh, here we go. Mental health counselors and nurses. Everybody's going to have a mental health problem, by the way, because thank God we have counselors and nurses to help them out with everything, because people who are probably just normal or just dealing with some crap, all of a sudden now they're mentally ill.
Yeah, everybody's mentally ill.
Yeah. Do you see what's going on here? People with brains listening to this going, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. No, it does not. I mean, it's just, he goes on, all this support. I mean, all I'm seeing here is more taxes, higher taxes being taken in a paycheck.
Yeah, I can't wait till we got to this. So the taxing corporations and the 1%. Get at town.
Here we go. We're dissing the rich. We're eating the rich right now, because the rich are the ones that are. It's unfair that they busted their asses and put their companies together, and they're making all this money while people are working at McDonald's. It's not fair. You know. Well, guess what? Life ain't fair.
Look at this. So you're going to. Okay, this is crazy. Leave it right here. It says hire more tax auditors. So you're going to pay for more tax auditors with the money that you're trying to get from taxing the 1%. It doesn't make sense. That's
because the 1% have attorneys and accountants and all that to fight all this crap. But the auditors will come after, but they'll come after the people who are just, making the 50, 60, 80 grand, 40, 30, whatever it is. They're the ones that they're going to come after, and they're the ones that are going to get audited, and they're the ones that are going to have to pay more because we have to have more auditors. It's another money grab from our governmental institutions, and this guy is all about it.
Dude, and he's not even being like, he's not even being like cloak and dagger about it. Yeah, he's just saying, but I mean, that's like, people are like, oh, corporations and 1%. Oh, great. That doesn't include me. It's gonna.
Oh, it'll get to you. Yeah.
Well, just like that. You tax corporations. Well, the 1% owns most corporations. So you start laying down hardcore tax on the corporations. Then what's going to happen? What are they going to do?
On down to us.
Yeah, they're going to raise their prices. Now, I mean, we are already paying what is it? What was the average? I think we said it on the show once. It was like our $1 that we make, 60% is that is taxed or something like that out of every dollar we make.
38 is your income tax, and then you have state tax on top of that. So now you're at 40-ish%. Then you have a sales tax, and then you have all your utilities taxes, and then you have taxes on other things. And then let's not forget about any state taxes when you die, things like that. Yeah, you're looking at near 60% for the average person. So you only have 40 cents out of every dollar you get to keep to pay your mortgage or your rent, all of your
Which is
utilities, which you're paying the tax on as well, but you have to still have to pay that. Car payment, insurance, medical insurance, life insurance, health insurance, car insurance,
any
loans
that have out,
loans that come out.
those are taxed.
How much of that dollar of the last 40 cents goes to all of that shit?
Yeah. It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. Math ain't mathing. That's the thing. That's why people are so far in debt, and people,
Well, and then here we have nebulous,
People are-
vague things like climate.
Oh God.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You're going to say one more point.
No, I was just going to say that's why people are fleeing cities like this.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Well, they're smart to do that.
Yeah.
So now he's throwing in green schools for a healthier New York. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. Climate. I mean, that's about as wide open and nebulous as you could possibly get, because it could be anything. So your money is flying out the door for that. Now you got the green schools. I mean, we gotta, hey, I'm all about green to a degree, but I think things need to work in conjunction with reality, with stuff that actually works and not stuff that's like 30-40% efficient, Oh, and then this is the most, vital, important one right here. The alphabet soup and their protections.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like, that's not my problem, man.
That is not my problem. Why don't you shut the hell up? Stay in the closet. Nobody gives a rat's ass that you sleep with another dude. If you're a dude, and vice versa, if you're a gal sleeping, nobody cares. They were sleeping.
Or if you want to call yourself a cat and you have mental illness over that, not my problem. So what they should do is they should take the alphabet supers and say, okay, you have to declare that you're this, and you maybe
you get special protection.
Get a stamp on your ID. No, you stamp on your ID or something, and then you pay for it.
Yeah.
All you guys, you pay for these protections, because it's not my problem.
Right.
And it's unfair, unbelievably unfair for you to ask me to pay for this shit. It's just like Bass asking the taxpayers and citizens of LA to come paint and clean up the fucking city.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That she should have.
I mean, come on.
Right. Well, and then here's the thing. The problem that they're pushing out is not nearly as bad as they're stating. Sure, you might have some isolated incidents where somebody gets harassed because they are gay. I think a lot of that is only if this gay person is kind of pushing themselves on you and you're not gay, and you're like, hey, dude, get the hell away from me. You're sexually harassing me as another guy because I'm not gay, and it's like we can't approach women, and then all of a sudden we're sexually harassed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same type of thing. So
yeah, exactly. It's that.
Yeah.
It's like the reverse racism thing,
right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, no, it's just racism.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what color you are. You know what I mean? If you're, that's the thing. Doesn't matter what's, whether you're
everybody
straight
is and can be racist.
Yeah. It doesn't matter whether you're straight or, an alphabet super.
Right.
If you were bashing the other one, you're harassing.
Yeah. And then
you don't get a pass because you have an L by your name. You don't get a pass because you have a T by your name.
They want to make it more of a crime. It's like a hate crime. Oh, well, I killed a gay guy, and therefore that's a hate crime. Or a white guy, I killed a black guy, or a black guy, I killed a white guy. Well, it only works the one way. It's only a hate crime when it's a white guy killing a black guy. But if a black guy kills a white guy, it's not a hate crime, apparently.
It's self-defense, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Jesus. But look at this shit. New York want to protect LGBTQAI XXX plus ZYZY by protecting gender-affirming care. Gender-affirming care is the buzzword for human mutilation. It's what it is. You're cutting off genitalia. You're injecting hormones into your body that aren't supposed to be there. We have a T-shirt. It's the Dos Equis T-shirt, and then the Equis Y. However you say it in Espanol, Equis E. You might change your label on the outside, but inside you're still the same.
Mhm.
So it's not gender affirming care. It's allowing doctors to perform illogical mutilation on a human body.
Yeah.
It's like any doctor who does this, who says, yeah, I feel totally fine cutting off your penis and pretending we're going to put a vagina in there, which is not a functional vagina anyway. You're repainting the car. You're putting new fenders on. You're adding some fender flares. You're adding a spoiler on the back. You're adding a, I mean, yeah. Oh, maybe you got hydraulics.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
But you're still a Chevy Cavalier.
The VIN number doesn't change. You just got the same VIN number, man.
The same VIN number. Oh my God! But here, there's more. Can you feel your wallet being emptied at the moment?
Oh
and
my
then
God!
Healthcare. Hey, we have a problem with healthcare. Yes, we have a problem with insurance. Is what we have as well. So something needs to be done about this. But I'm guessing, that his solution is just more tax dollars out of your pocket rather than
everybody
just putting a Band-Aid on it.
Mm-hmm. Everybody pays into the healthcare fund. I mean, we all do anyway, and it's like, and they still can't fucking fix it.
12% of New York's residents are uninsured. Okay, well, to expand access to healthcare, well, they have access to healthcare. First of all, it's just a matter of paying for it, and the problem is it's expensive, so a lot of people won't go. But if it's free, or if it doesn't cost you anything, you're going to go for every little sniffle, every little paper cut you get, every little scratch. There needs to be kind of a balance here. And I think that, anything that's worth anything, you got to pay for it. It means nothing. It's like, okay, go back to a rudimentary little example. When our daughters, they broke their phones. They have two different dads. I'm a stepdad, but their dad. Anyway, they would get a new phone because their dad had it on their plan, on his plan, and they would crack their phone. They'd drop it all the time. I swear to God, they cracked their phones like 4 or 5 times in the time I had my phone and never cracked it before I upgraded to my next phone. Because I took care of mine because I had to pay for my phone.
Yeah.
I would have to pay for my health insurance, which means if I want to get a diagnosis on something that I have, I'm hoping that I can go in and it's a reasonable cost, whether I'm insured or not, to have that looked at, so that I'm not just, not going because I don't have any money, I can't afford it, and then that my health situation gets worse. You know what I mean? There's a balance we have to find, and I'm not a expert on this topic, therefore I don't know the answer, but there's a lot of smart people that do, who are in the industry, and this shit ain't it.
Well, and here's another thing though too. Out of that 12%, I'm guessing there has to be at least 3 to 4% of that are people that don't want to go.
Yeah. Or
people
don't care,
that don't want to go,
or are too young.
Go.
Yeah, or are too young. They figure they're healthy. They're in their teens and 20s. I don't need to get health insurance. It really, maybe catastrophic something. Maybe there's exactly, but they never state that. No, they just make it sound like it's everybody. It's just
well, it's like the homeless crisis. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would venture to think, and maybe I'm throwing out wild numbers here, but I would venture to think,
but that's okay.
half of those people are choosing to live that way. They don't want to be. They don't want to be governed. They don't want to live by society's rules. They don't want to. They don't want to play that game.
Some sort of play. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the classic hobo. You know what I mean? And hobo means homeless bohemian. Like they don't want to live in a home. They don't want to pay the damn taxes. They don't want to drive the damn cars and fix them and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then another quarter of them have mental problems and should be in some sort of mental institution, a humane mental institution, not like some of those that have happened in the past. But anyway, we can go on and on about it. Labor. He will work closely with the city's powerful labor movement, which is just another Democratic term for, stealing more money out of your pocket yet again. And the union, I've been in unions. I've been in the two biggest unions in the world, the Teamsters and the hotel restaurants unions at some point. And although they are good for the workers sometimes, but you got to pay your dues. And then if you are told to go on strike because of this, that, or the other, you have to. You can't go working. It is virtually impossible to get fired if you do the bare minimum. So unions really are not for people who want performance out of their employees, who will pay them bonuses and incentives to work harder and innovate and everything else. So this, it's more government. He just wants to expand the government's role in our lives. Department of Consumer and Worker Protection. He will continue fighting for the Secure Jobs Act. Here we go again. It's like, this is why I hate guaranteed contracts in professional sports. Every contract in professional sports should maybe have a low base with everything else being incentives.
Yeah.
Because you and I have to pretty much hit home runs or doubles and triples every single time we do a project.
Yeah.
I can't sit here and strike out every single time I come up to the batter's box. You just can't. And why does everybody else on all these, you work for the post office, you work for any sort of government, DMV, whatever. You do the bare minimum. You don't have to be friendly to people like, hey, how you doing? What do you need today? And you get their stuff done for them. You've done the job, but you haven't gone above and beyond because there's no reason to. And we're disincentivizing people to work hard, to be friendly, to be nice, to work. You know what I mean? And then here's the other bullshit. Raising the minimum wage to $30 an hour by 2030. Has he not learned a lesson? Apparently he hasn't, because he's only 33 and he's a moron.
He's a moron.
Of what Gavin Newsom did in California and destroyed all the industries. Because you know what? You have to understand, people. We've said this before in another podcast we did. You raise it to 30, the floor up to $30 an hour. The people who are above them, the supervisors or the managers and everybody up the line, they all have also be raised. So you're not just giving somebody from $8 an hour to $30 an hour, which is insane because that's like 60 grand a year from, minimum wage is really to keep you from paying somebody a quarter an hour like they do in China or other places.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's for. It's not a living wage. That's two completely different things. Okay. So $30 an hour will put many businesses out of business. It'll also hurt the people who are working there because guess what? I can't afford 3 of you at $30 an hour, but I can maybe keep 1 of you on at $30 an hour. Now
that one person's doing the work of 3 people. Yeah. And that's when people start jumping out of windows.
I don't understand why people why they don't get it. They don't get that. Your minimum wage is not supposed to be $60,000 freaking dollars a year. It's for first-time. Oh my God. Regulating delivery apps and protecting delivery workers sounds wonderful, but I'm sure it's more government regulation.
For
you can read through this. 80% Black, brown, and immigrant workers. Once again, you don't think there are some white people who also are kind of struggling and have to do some of these jobs as well? Deliveristas, as they call them.
Deliveristas.
I'm sorry. Everybody, Asians, white folk, Black, brown, and immigrant. Here we are. We're divisive again on all this bullshit. Small businesses. It's the greatest city in the world. Well, it's not going to be if you get in there. But the people who are, and it's slowly not becoming prior to you being in there, but the people who make it are being priced out. Well, yeah, that's because your taxes are so freaking high, moron. Zoran. This and Trump libraries. Okay, they're critical to a city's success. Are they? We have something called the interwebs, where we can pretty much get everything from the library online.
They provide cool from the summer heat. Really?
Oh, So you're going to let all the homeless guys.
Yeah,
who
that's
you
what
don't
that
wanna-
sounds like. It's exactly what it sounds like.
Oh yeah,
Liveries are
have
going to
Trump's
be, yeah, they're going to be turned into homeless camps.
Trump proof in New York.
Trump-proofing, I'm going to see. Oh, you're lovely.
I mean, this alone is he's hawking for the liberal vote.
Well, in its day, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fear mongering in here too.
A lot
You know,
of fear-mongering.
which is, I mean, that they're living and dying by that, basically.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. Yeah. Well, this guy is ridiculous. Now he has no experience or very little, but you see everybody, trying to say, well, Trump had no experience. Trump was one of the guys that had no experience, and blah blah blah. And they rail on him. And Pete Hegseth, he was a Fox News guy. He has no experience. Well, he was in the military for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah, so here you have, Trump's professional references agree. Trump is unfit for the job. Let's see. I mean, it just goes on. Let me find some more I put in here. Here's some more stuff that he's talking about. This is on why he wants to empty the jails. Violence is an artificial construct. So if I walk down the street and I see you and I punch you in the face and break your nose and you go bleeding all over is that just a artificial construct at that point?
That's ridiculous.
Are people getting murdered and mugged and raped and everything else? Is that just an artificial? How insulting to victims of these crimes and other violent crimes. How insulting. This is the piece of shit you people want to vote in. It's baffling. He is a communist. Right there. Yes, he is a communist. The only way to take away something from someone who doesn't want to give it is force. Don't use God's name in your advocacy for robbery. Amen, brother. If they want income equality, they can start with their income. Let them give it away. Yeah, anybody in office should be volunteering, pretty much.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, and then here we go. And this is a great one. In 2001, we will never forget. New York City in 2025 elects a Muslim jihadist, which is who this guy is. It's not me saying it. It's here and there and everywhere. Crowdsource the truth. Social anarchist moron Zohran Mamdani participated in an economic assault against Tesla. So now he wants to also destroy other companies and corporations who he's touting in his little list of policies there that he wants to uplift, but he's willing to take down somebody like a Tesla because he doesn't agree with their politics. Elon.
That's so dumb. But he wants green schools, right?
Oh, of course.
He's all for yeah.
Does anybody see the hypocrisy in all this?
Ah, man, it's ridiculous. It's running rampant.
This guy's a freaking idiot. Here we go. He also wants to defund the police. What a great combo. We don't need an investigation to know that the NYPD is racist. Say that to the black cops and the Chinese cops and the Indian cops and everybody else. If you've ever been to New York City, there are cops of every race and color and religion.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how you call the NYPD racist and anti-queer. There's probably some gay cops as well. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm sure there is. They
and a major threat to public safety. What we need is defund NYPD, because apparently he wants to put social workers on the streets to talk to the guy that just mugged you from your
neighborhood watch. Like what, you know what I mean, with a flashlight and a billy club and maybe some, a pillow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or a box of tissues that you cry in. Like that. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
This guy's a freaking moron. This is classic. Aren't his kind of anti-queer? I'm not sure what he was actually trying to write. I don't see police throwing queens off of rooftops. In case you people don't get it, Muslim Islamic jihadists and Muslim fundamentalists like this guy is, they don't look kindly, which is ironic because he does this whole LGBTQIA protection thing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look kindly on people who are gay.
No,
And they
don't.
literally throw homosexuals off of rooftops and burn them alive and other things in these Muslim majority countries.
Yeah.
Stone them to death, just like they're women.
Hate Jews and Christians. Yeah, that's the same. That's the thing. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is. I'm going to put this on here so you can actually hear this video, because this one is actually pretty good, because this will kind of piss you off a little bit when you hear what this guy has to say. And then you have to laugh, and you'll know why here in a second, Rude.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is.
Yeah, I've seen this one actually.
Yeah, let's listen to what he's saying.
When I was an extremist, Islamist, fundamentalist, I would only vote left.
Why is that?
I saw them as very stupid. I would fear the conservatives because they come with principle. That's not someone they can brainwash. But the left, I know they have no values and no principles to begin with. I dare you to find one Islamic extremist that votes for Donald Trump. Never do it. They'd give their vote to the leftist who wants to run around in pride parades. And Islamic extremists are against gays and homosexuals and transgenders, but they want the left to go and get busy with that. They want them go speak about the climate, go speak about abortion, go kill yourselves, go do that. And she's fighting for abortion rights and all the other, my body, my choice. Yes, go do that. But would she have an abortion? Never. Would she kill a Muslim in her stomach? Never.
What is the fundamentalist and jihadi agenda for America?
The future of America has to be Muslim.
Yes, yeah, see? It's the same thing.
Fuck, do you people not get this? We did a whole, so the last video, which as of this recording, I don't have it up yet, but we did the whole Iran-Israeli war thing. We talked about the Iranians and the Islamic fundamentalists that run that country, who are not really Iranian either. But they want the whole world to be Muslim. They want to get rid of the Jews and the state of Israel. They have a prophecy to fulfill. And in order for that prophecy to come true and be fulfilled, the last drop of blood of an Israeli or a Jew needs to fall. And then no more Israelis, Jews, or anything. And the Muslim religion will. It is so effed up.
Dude, it's.
And this is what we're bringing here in New York City. This is what you want to vote in.
You know, it's scary because this is where they infiltrate. You know what I mean? These are the ways that they're infiltrating our infrastructure.
Yep.
And I just fear for the future. You know what I mean? If we let these kind of people into office.
Yeah.
Because they don't belong in these power positions. Obviously, you've seen what they've done to Iran.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's not going to change unless these people are out of power. There is a difference between Muslims and Islamic fundamentalists or Islamic radical and Islamic, what's the other term for it? But Islamists are completely different than Muslims, although they follow the same religion of Islam.
Mm-hmm.
The way they interpret it and the way they go about trying to fulfill prophecies and go through this whole thing, is different. There are peaceful ones, and then there's just enough of these radical ones to really screw it up for everybody, and that lumps everybody in to these categories.
Well, that's kind of the thing, though, too, is their agendas are so secretive that you don't know who is the extremist or the radicalized or not, because they'll live in plain view, plain sight.
Yeah.
Run run the 7-Eleven, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, run a grocery store, run a car dealership. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But in those positions of power, when, I mean, for lack of better description, when the button's pushed that sets, you know, that turns them, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or they get the letter in the mail that says it's go time. This is what you need to do. Well,
Yeah.
guess who has a bomb strapped to their body and is riding it on an airplane? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, really?
I don't recall any Christians or Jews or Buddhists or Hindus or any of the other religions that have that type of interpretation of their religious sect, their book. You know, no, not all Muslims agree with that type of behavior, but there are plenty that do.
Mm-hmm.
And they're running
Let's just-
Iran right now. They're running some of these other Muslim countries, and it's a shame. You know, this is just the hypocrisy of these people on the left who are even thinking about voting this guy in with everything we've talked about right now. None of those policies, except for a couple of them that we agree with. I just don't agree with the way you probably want to go about changing that shit. But I think for the most part, a lot of these policies are policies that make sense. And that's all a lot of these people are hearing is the make sense part, but they don't see the underlying aspect of what's really going on with them.
Really going on. Yeah. And the,
Which is why you got to question everything.
Question everything. I mean, you can't tell me that when you look at this, you don't see a future agenda.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you don't see that. You know what I mean?
We're not trying to be xenophobic here, but the mayor of London has been Muslim. I mean, he's always been Muslim, but I mean, he was elected and has been the mayor of London for many years. And look at the crap that's been going on in London over the years. You've had some of these jihadists killing people in the streets. Oh, that actually has happened.
Yeah.
Go look in the news, look it up. Just go killing in the streets of London, or Muslim killing streets in London, Muslim killing, burning somebody alive. We had that happen in the New York subway. Somebody got burned to death in the New York subway, because that's not a usual crime that you hear about in the United States.
No, that's an extreme crime. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So the hypocrisy of the left, all these idiots, and just like that last interview that Dinesh D'Souza did with that Islamic fundamentalist guy, is people on the left are just naive, ignorant, stupid, apathetic, something.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't critically think about what's going on with this stuff. They just hear the talking points coming from the news, coming from their government officials, coming from people, and they don't sit there and say, okay, you know this guy is part of the Democrat Party, but you know, I have to question. We question people on the right who sit there and start following with the Democrat ideals, and we just go, whoa, wait a minute, what the hell are you doing? You're a traitor to the party. You're a traitor to the American people if you go along with what they're doing in this radical agenda that they might be talking about. So you have all this hypocrisy on the left. You know, you have this story, CNN, Republican consultants getting absolutely roasted, and they always just put that in there. They didn't get roasted. Matter sometimes, and you just said
Dems can't roast because it's all bullshit.
Yeah. You know, roasted alive in CNN and qualifications argument against Zohran. When they voted for Trump, he had zero experience coming into office. Zero experience as being a politician, maybe, just like this guy. Maybe he has that year he was some dude in the New York area. Who had 23 different B-list Fox News stars with zero. You know, come on. These people have experience in their own way, and they may not be political or politician type experience, but they have experience in the real world. Donald Trump has run many companies. Oh, but many of them went bankrupt. Well, shit happens. Yes, you're right. Absolutely, they have. But look at what he has made a success with. All the companies that are still around.
But that's the thing too. Is like, well, what's happened? Having politicians, lifelong politicians in these seats.
Yeah, why are they better?
Right. Why are they better? They've run the country in a complete shitstorm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're telling me that's better?
Yeah.
Lifelong politician.
Still vote for them.
With their own agendas and their own, their own secret,
voting themselves raises, insider trading,
back
both
alley
sides of
deals
the
and
aisle.
Trying to get rich. Exactly. I mean, come on.
Come on. Let's not be freaking hypocrites here, people. I mean, it's just, I mean, my God. The hypocrisy is just rampant. And these people are just absolutely insane.
By the way, this is
hypocritical on this whole shit.
Yes, they are. Sorry. This is a little off topic, but I do want to note that the guy that burned the woman in the subway, the New York subway, was a Guatemalan citizen.
Illegal?
Who had been entered the country illegally.
Oh, shocker. That's right.
And was previously deported in 2018. And this incident happened in 2024. It happened last year.
So he got back in the country.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
Yes,
that's right. It wasn't illegal.
I wonder whose administration he got it back in on.
Weird. I can't think of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you know, put it in the comments for us and let us know whose administration that was under.
Some lifelong politician, maybe?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Could be. I don't know. That's probably racist.
I had to throw that in there.
It's probably a racist or xenophobic response right there.
Yeah, definitely.
So here we got more hypocrisy. The 70-year-old Donald Trump came into the office with no government experience. Yes, that's why we voted for him, to be honest with you. Because I wanted to see, you know what? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. Politicians have been giving us the same freaking result, and we keep voting them back in. That's why I voted for Trump. He wasn't a politician. He couldn't be bought, still can't be bought. Exactly. And I'm hoping he's actually doing, and it seems like he's actually doing good for the public, the American people. And in turn, the world, to be honest with you.
Well, the majority of voters and the popular vote said they don't want to be sheep anymore.
Yeah. We're sick and tired of the bullshit.
Sick and tired of the
39-year-old J.D. Vance never served in public office until last year. But Republicans attacked Vice President Kamala Harris as a DEI hire because she's a black woman. No, because she touted she was a black woman, and she touted she was a moron. Racism and sexism are all they got. Really, Keith? You're a genius. I mean, these people. This is all you have. This is all you got.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to be honest with you. There's a few more here. We're gonna work our way right through this here real quick. So, GOP security experts, Trump lacks the character, values, and experience to be president. Oh, really? Maybe. But he seems to be doing a much better job and has gotten more done in his first 100, 200, 150 days this term, actually the first term as well, than Biden and that moron ever did. Democrats, we need an en route with the young men Trump keeps taking from us. Did they just admit something there? That young men are saying, oh, not buying your bullshit anymore. I'm going with my boy Trump.
Yeah, or are they talking about the illegals that he's deporting?
Yeah, right.
I mean, which is it?
Yeah, exactly. And then Zohran comes in here. Zohran, the moron, exists as a cool dude with good policies and gets fellas hype. Democrats, oh no, not like that. I'm not sure how to read this exact quote, this tweet, but I mean, Zohran ran as an open communist. Do you people not get it? He's telling you exactly what he is. and had a photo op with someone who said America deserved 9/11. If you're in New York and you heard that, and I don't know if you can find that while I'm kind of going through this, I would love to find that quote where he said he had a photo op with someone who said America deserved 9/11. Literally no prominent Democrats bothered to condemn him for either of these things. They never do. They never condemn their own.
No, they don't. They don't. And it's like you can't just give people passes on stuff like that.
No.
You know what I mean?
But they do. Anyone saying the Dems are not radically extreme and far left isn't living within reality. Amen. That's so it's true. There are a few Democrats who had the courage and integrity to stand up and say Mamdani isn't worthy of election and it's actually making dangerous promises. The praise is nauseating. Kevin McGuire, amen, brother. You are absolutely freaking correct.
Mm-hmm.
This is really rich. Even the revolutionary communists of America can't stand Mamdani because they see him as a fraud, running as a Democrat, deceiving the working class. Okay. Who would have imagined that centrist Democrats, Republicans, and pro-Israel Democrats would find themselves agreeing with communists on anything? And we have a couple screenshots in here. Communist group slams Mamdani for deceiving working class, making false promises. Well, he's making a lot of his whole policy is false promises. Even commies don't want free groceries from Mamdani. Revolutionary Communists of America recently ripped the socialist mayoral candidate over his ties to the Democrat Party. An article called "Why Communists Can't Support Mamdani." Rather than building an influence of socialism, he is tainting that word through false promises and associating himself with the rotten and discredited Democrat Party. I'll let you read the next one.
Well, actually, I found this. Who it was? It was it's a leftist streamer, Hassan Piker.
Oh, okay.
And
Send
he
that to
once
me. Maybe I'll
said,
put it up.
yeah, he once said that America deserved 9/11. Yeah, I'm looking up the actual story. Oh, here you go. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty horrible. I mean, it's one of those things where obviously, if you're, running for office or something like that, you need to be careful who you are,
Associating with.
Associating with, and rubbing elbows with. But at the same time, like, again, like the leftist side is not like slapping his hands or making him be accountable for this kind of thing, and really
there it is,
really damning him for it and slamming him for it.
Yeah, resurface photo shows New York City mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani with leftist streamer Hassan Piker, who once said America deserved 9/11. I mean,
isn't that great?
Come on, people.
I'm sure
New York. I'll let you read this last one if you'd like.
Look that up. Yeah. Despite his nice sounding words, Zohran is ultimately a reformist seeking to make minor tweaks to the New York City budget. Minor tweaks.
Sure. Okay.
In the process, he's deceiving the working class about the role of Democratic Party, about possibly achieving meaningful improvements under capitalism. Isn't that interesting?
And he also said he doesn't like capitalism as well. Mamdani, as he sits there and tweets on his iPhone or, and drives around in his car, and you know what I mean?
Well, and this is kind of what we're talking about. I mean, this really wraps it up. The lefty group, candidate who ties with major political to push a socialist agenda. Yeah, and that's kind of the thing where it's the fear mongering to turn these people back into sheep and push these socialist agendas, which is going to ultimately kill our economy again, because everything's going to raise it so high, because it's going to raise the taxes. It's just it's a no-win game.
Yeah. Douglas Mackey breaking. This is the memo that could be Zohran Mamdani's downfall. We can only hope, but I doubt it. Because we have too many stupid people who hate Trump so much and can't stand Cuomo because they wanted to vote for this new kid on the block.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to triple down on making New York City a sanctuary city and crack down on ICE. So you want to continue bringing in illegal people into this country who are going to take your jobs, burn people in subways. Oh, I know that doesn't happen all the time, but it did from an illegal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to have all these people who should be not here to begin with, who have raped people. Remember Lake and Riley?
Mm-hmm.
I know we keep bringing it up, but that's a name that everybody should know. And
well, they're trying to. They are doing their best to sweep that under the rug.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
Keep bringing it back up. Yeah,
I'll keep bringing it back up all day.
Well, but it's these people are more likely to be good workers and all that. Maybe, but there's a hell of a lot of them who do commit crimes that if they weren't here, those crimes wouldn't have been committed. We have enough people doing that here ourselves.
Yeah, you're right. And I'm sorry that, I mean, again, like, don't mean to rope everybody that are, of foreign descent into these categories. However, it's happening, and it's happening with illegal immigration, or immigrants, because of these shitty immigration policies. Yeah.
And this will all lead us into our next topic that we're going to talk about: birthright citizenship. So thanks for joining this podcast. Join our next one. We appreciate you coming in. Please like, subscribe, comment, share this video with people. Let everybody else know if you had fun. If we're trying to bring a serious topic to hand, but throw a little levity in there and have a good time with it. We appreciate it, and send it out to everybody. So join us for the next one. We're going to talk about birthright citizenship coming up next.